Hi there, mamas to be and new mamas. Today I'm going to talk about 3 really critical tips for postnatal fitness, as well as to keep you fit and well in the prenatal phase. So my name is Mary Stern. I'm a physiotherapist. I have worked in obstetrics at BC Women's Hospital, cover there sometimes. Highly recommend you see the ladies there, inpatient and outpatient. I also have my own clinic in North Vancouver, British Columbia, called Blue Ridge Physio, which is where we are today. And I have seen again and again certain patterns of who really can succeed and be successful in their postnatal fitness programs, and for who maybe they have to backtrack, or maybe they're not really happy with where they are, and what those key things are, and also what I found success in myself, and the theoretical physiotherapy things that get networked into it. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about is body mechanics. So for your postnatal fitness, part of that is feeling well, feeling healthy, not feeling completely strained here, not having wrist pain, de Quervain syndrome, carpal tunnel syndrome. So for that, we require scapular stability. What is scapular stability? It is the ability to have the strength between the shoulder blades, the muscles back here, so that we're not hunched over. Now, there are so many opportunities for us to get back pain when we have our babies. So we're climbing here, not climbing, they're climbing, but we're trying to get them in and out of their cradle, in and out of places. We're also bending forward. We're feeding babies, bottle feeding, breastfeeding, whatever it is. So there's so much going on here. Now, if we can cultivate strength in our back, have the opportunity to relax back, and scapular stability sometimes is external stability. What do I mean by that? Have a chair that you can actually offload on. Have that moment in time where you can catch yourself feeling so much stress here. I feel like these are stress flexors right here, and relax. That scapular stability piece will help you through all of the movements you have to do as a new mama, but it'll also get you back to your fitness level. And because when we do have that scapular stability in the muscles in the back, we avoid, and for this I'm going to need to bring the camera down, we avoid sticking our chest out when we try to create that sense of not sloping, because these muscles keep us stable without compromising our alignment. That will help us build our core. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, you can go to see my video on postural alignment and how to improve your posture, and I talk more in depth about that. But that scapular stability is huge, huge, huge. So that's your number one job in terms of researching or getting some advice from your physiotherapist. Obviously, an individualized approach to this is 100% best. So number 2, the thing that I want you to think about a lot for your postnatal fitness is your pelvic girdle stability and your core stability. So what does that mean? Obviously, you get recommendations from your physician, from your physiotherapist, to wait a certain period of time until you are able to start exercising again. And why is that? We still have hormones coursing through our body, so we have a relative laxity in our ligaments. So we may have irritations already in our pelvic girdle. Pelvic girdle pain can be the SI joint, the pubic symphysis, can be anywhere in that area where we're just getting a little bit of irritation because the muscles aren't stabilizing us perhaps the way they could, because the ligaments are making it so that there's a little bit more of a shear, and because the way we're carrying ourselves is different. There's a lot of stretch, there's some heaviness, there has been some compromise to the strength of the muscles that are underneath there. So pelvic girdle stability is an important thing to focus on after you have your baby, and that can't just be a one-size-fits-all. So what do I mean by that? So if you were to launch yourself into a postnatal class and you're doing lots of warriors, for example, or you're doing kind of some deep squats, and you found that, you know what, that kind of hurts. Well, you are not alone. There are not necessarily exercise classes postnatally that are best for everyone. So it's important that you find exercise that supports the feeling of comfort around the pelvic girdle, so that you don't feel little irritations through the muscles in the bum, so that you're not feeling any heaviness in the pelvic floor, and any discomfort or strain through the hip flexors or the adductors and the inner thigh. So that pelvic girdle stability program can look like something as simple as a pelvic press, which is the kind of like a bridge, but where you're kind of doing a little bit of a posterior tilt to drawing your belly muscles in and squeezing the muscles. So there's certain exercises that can really support that pelvic girdle stability, learning how to contract your deep core. So I have a few videos. Please have a look at those under the women's health section. And how to find that deep core. If you start there and if you start small and you build that stepwise, that's the perfect scaffolding for you then to launch your regular Pilates program, your regular yoga program. Maybe you're doing HIIT down the road and you want to get back to it. Maybe you're doing something more intense, or maybe you want to get back to your Ironman. But if you can start with that deep core and pelvic girdle stability, then you will set yourself up for success. So that is the second really hot tip for postnatal fitness. The third one is a little more psychological, and this is definitely my favorite because this is what I did, and it is incidental exercise. So what is incidental exercise? It's exercise where you don't have to plan for it because you've got a new baby. Your life looks vastly different, and maybe you have an amazing nanny, or maybe you have amazing parents that can help you, but the idea of having to do that regular 60 minutes where you go out to the gym, or that 60 minutes where you're going for the run, you may not have that time. So understanding that accumulatively, incidental exercise, 3 minutes here, 3 minutes there, in terms of doing 10 squats while you're about to use the washroom, or doing scapular retractions and depressions, squeezing the shoulder blades together, doing some spinal twists while you're sitting before you start to feed your baby. Doing that throughout the day. Maybe you're a yogi and you want to do, a chair pose in the middle. You can't see me. I've just got myself in a bit of a squat in the middle of talking to your partner. So finding those little moments, and if you do that just periodic throughout the day, you not only build up to a really healthy exercise program, you find success in a way that doesn't cost you anything. And number 3, you get yourself out of static sitting positions that can create pain in your muscles. So but I've heard, and I say sometimes cheekily, that your best posture is the next posture. And because we're doing a lot of things subconsciously that we might not have been doing before we had these beautiful miracles of life, we need to kind of move our bodies more frequently so that we can get out of discomfort. Because you might be here for a half an hour and you didn't realize you were, or you might be changing baby and there's like a poo disaster and everything's tight, and then later on you're wondering, was I bending to the side? What is happening here? So that builds up over time is really, really critical. There's lots of little things that you can do. I also talk about, so this is a bonus one, the 3 are over, but the bonus one is really pacing yourself. It is humbling for us as new mamas. And if you're a dad watching this, dads change too, but new mamas, as we change and our bodies change, it's really humbling to let go of this feeling of control. I mean, you have probably seen it just stepping up on the weight scale, even if you have a pretty healthy body image, and not all of us do, but even if you do, stepping on that weight scale, seeing those changes, wondering, okay, what's next? Why do I now have wrist pain? Now I've got swelling here and swelling in my feet, and a lot of this is hormonal and will go away gradually. But having an understanding that this too shall pass, this change, there's some grace within that change, knowing we have to let go a little, but yes, we can build back, and finding those little successes and pacing through that in a way where we're not in our heads about, I have to be here by this date, is going to be a much healthier way to build your postnatal fitness. And it does mean everything. One of my great successes was deciding that I wasn't going to use a carrier, because I felt that it had, whether it was in the middle back or the lower back, it created a lot of postural pain for me. And I decided instead I was going to hold baby here, good scapular stability. So my big success for me was that, yes, I would get a muscle burn while I was holding, but my biceps got really ripped. And so they were my ripped biceps that I decided consciously was going to be my incidental exercises on carrying baby. So now my association with that discomfort, because I've got the good stability, because I've decided on the good pacing, and because I'm also thinking a little bit of that core was a great success for me, and that's what I want for you as well, so that we can not feel like we're losing something, feel like we're gaining this insight, this new perception, this new way of being, in a way where we have to be more efficient than we have ever been. We're gaining mama superpowers. So I hope this has been helpful, and if it has been, please have a look at the other videos in the women's health or the other sections. I will be building a longer game changer section and more exercise classes as well. And please subscribe. I'd love to connect again. Thanks so much.